Today, we will be building a PC. But first, we're going to be introducing the parts we're going to be using. So let's get started.
I'm Batman!
Oh yeah, this is going to be my helper, Batman. Trusty Batman. So, for the CPU, we're going to be using a i7 6700K.
We're going to use this motherboard. It's a Z170MX34 from S-Rock.
For the RAM, we actually have two, but each has 8 gigabytes. And we're going to be using an Xavier Avexor RAM, and it's a DDR4 RAM.
This is the heatsink we're going to be using to cool the CPU. It is model H550 from Corsair.
For the drive, we're going to be using a CS1111 solid state drive, and get this, it has 240 gigabytes.
This is the power supply that we will be using as for 580 watts, and it's a modular power supply by Hyper.
And then the case here we're going to be using is a Car by 240 Air. Let's get started. This is the motherboard.
This is where the CPU is going to be. There are 4 slots for RAM. We only have 2. There are 3 slots for video cards. We don't have a video card yet, so we're going to be using the one in the CPU. These connectors are for the power supply. These connectors are for the drive.
This is a cover for the CPU socket, and you need to remove it. It's so you can put in the CPU.
Next, you will open the socket. You will do that by pushing down on the lever and moving it to the side before lifting it out. There are very tiny pins in the socket. Try not to touch them.
Now it's time to put in the CPU. This CPU only goes one way. You can tell there's a triangle in the corner, and there's a triangle in the motherboard. When you put in the CPU, you have to match the triangles.
Now it's time to install the RAM. There are 4 slots, and there are 2 pieces of RAM. You have to put the RAM in matching slots, 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. The notch on the RAM has to match the notch on the slot. First, you have to open this thing, and then you will put it in.
Now it's time to install the heatsink bracket. This is the back plate. It goes under the motherboard. This is the retention ring, and this goes over the motherboard. Next, you install the retention ring. you install the screws.
Next, we will install the motherboard into the computer case. We will do that by removing these two screws to remove the side panel.
You install the back panel. And there, did it.
Next, you will put the motherboard inside the case.
You screw the motherboard to the case. Be very careful not to scratch the motherboard. Now, we are going to be connecting the case cables to the motherboard. The first cable I'm going to be connecting to the motherboard is an HD audio. Here's a tip. There's a missing pin here and a missing pin here, but you probably can't see it. So let me connect this. Next, I'm going to plug in a USB 3.0 cable.
These are the cables that we are going to plug into the motherboard. These cables are on the computer case. This one is a hard disk drive LED. This one is a reset switch. These two are power LEDs. One of them is positive, the other one is negative. This one is the power switch. This cable provides power to the fan. I need to plug this to the motherboard. There's a notch that fits between these two pieces. There are 4 pins. There are only 3 pins on this cable, but it will still work. This is a liquid-cooled heatsink. We are going to install this next.
Right now, we are screwing this heatsink onto the case.
This is the power supply. We are going to be installing the power supply into the PC case. The power supply will provide power for the PC.
I am going to be plugging in these cables from the power supply to the motherboard. We're going to be installing this drive to the PC where the dancing Batman is. should hear a click and it's ready. The last cable to connect. This cable connects the hard drive to the motherboard. To put the panels back. And then you gotta screw these screws on. The last panel, but one thing first. Oh, that felt good. Time to put it in. Let's see if it works. Okay, so for our PCU, it's going to be a CPU. I already messed up. Alright, so for the PCU we're going to be using is the i7
CPU!
Okay, let's restart that.
This is where the CPU is going to be. There are 4 slots for RAM. 2 are only going to be used. There are 3 slots for RAM. We don't have cables on the computer case that we are going to plug inside the motherboard. This one is the hard drive disk. This is a leak.